Hey everyone, hopefully you're killing it in the markets. Hopefully you're having fun doing it. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. My goal is to get so much silver or stacks of $100 bills in your pockets where I give you lower back pains from all of the winnings and profits that you have. That's my goal. So if you think or agree with that goal, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up for this content if you like the content, and leave comments below on what you guys think of this presentation. So today I call this positioning for success. I'm going to go over what I do and my thoughts and how this aligns with the channel. A lot of my charting, it's not necessarily used for short-term trading, although it works for short-term trading. And I'm going to kind of give you what my mindset is and what I'm seeing in the markets in total. And I'm giving you my opinion on it. Obviously, you don't have to follow this opinion because it's mine, but you guys can form your own opinions. I'm just sharing some information about what I am seeing. So I call this positioning for success. And I'm going to tie it all together here. So what I'm seeing in the market is I'm seeing companies go vertical very quickly, very quickly. And trading in and out is going to be a little bit more difficult if you want to make a lot of money during this bull market. So if you're choosing the correct companies, I would say be careful trading in and out because these companies they go vertical so quickly. Market deficits on supply and demand front here. So what that means is that we've got deficits coming on the supply and demand side for a lot of these materials. So they're coming now or they're about to come very soon. Again, you got to tie that in with these companies going vertical. So you got to position. It's about positioning and strategically positioning to capture those gains. We're seeing an inflation component in the world. When I'm talking about gold, I think gold's going to go up here pretty soon. But real estate's moving up. We're in a very bad state for real estate in terms of supply and demand. We've got that inflation there. And what I mean by inflation component, I mean there's an inflation component to commodities itself. And when we're looking at real estate, we're seeing this stuff in the market. Real estate's going up quite dramatically. It's going to have lead to very large inflation. And commodities have that inflation component that you can hedge against. So we have to look at this from a strategic positioning standpoint. And when you have 100-year lows for commodities and they're just starting to come up off the bottom, we're going to see some big moves. So I'm trying to tie this all together. We've got companies moving up very quickly to the upside. We've got deficits that are either in effect, like copper right now is in a deficit, or we're about to be in deficits very soon over the next year or two in oil, uranium, and some of the other base metals. They're coming. It's right out there in front of us. And remember, markets are forward-looking. So they're going to price this stuff in maybe a year or two, or before the price even starts moving on the commodity itself, they might start getting priced into some of the producers. And if they're in commodity funds in general and money's flowing into commodity funds, it may start pushing all of these things to the upside. And I think, and what I'm doing is positioning for all of this to happen. And I want to make something very clear. This alignment that we have above does not happen often. And what I mean by that is we have a very explosive market that are moving companies very quickly. We've got the supply demand deficits are in front of us. We've got an inflation component that is tied to real estate because the real estate supply demand is so jacked up, and we're at 100-year low commodities. This alignment is aligning us to be exceptionally successful in the future if we can strategically place our bets now and just hold on. So my strategy of all of that stuff is to spread the money out amongst the largest asymmetric bets that I know of in the world. I'm not trading in and out of positions. I'm locked, I'm loaded, and I'm sitting and waiting for the market to move. I am positioned in a lot of smaller cap to mid cap companies. And what I mean by that, it's 10 to 500 million market caps. That's what I'm looking for, are those size of companies, because those companies can move a whole bunch during this market. And I focus basically entirely on the commodity bull market duration for its entirety. And I think that duration is going to be 5 to 15 years in duration. That's my investment time horizon for these investments. Now I'm going to talk about my mindset. My mindset. So I'm not as worried about the near-term price movements. I am accumulating for that duration of that 5 to 15-year period. Ratios are incredibly cheap, and they're at historical lows right now in the commodities that we're looking at. So that is an absolute. This is an opportunity of a lifetime, and if you can get this correct, and you can strategically place your bets, and you can hold on, it will change your life. This is life-changing investments right here. And you being part of this channel can change your life. And I want to change your life. So market conditions are in place for a commodity bull market. We're seeing that in all of the charts. We're seeing that in the price movements. We're seeing it in the momentum. And what I do is I accumulate and hold. And this is what billionaires do. This is what big money does. They accumulate on the cheap, and then they hold until it becomes expensive. That is how billionaires invest. And that's how we should be investing during this bull market. So the sectors that I like, these are the ones that I prefer based off of the supply and demand fundamentals where there's market deficits in the future. Nickel, copper, graphite. Silver and platinum are the precious metals that I really like. Oil and natural gas and uranium in the energy sectors. And in agriculture, you can go and spread out into agriculture, but I know fertilizer. There's a couple other ones that are pretty good. There's probably some agricultural commodities too that are good that I just don't know as much about. Now, I want something to be crystal clear that everyone understands here. And this is all wealth. So commodities and energy are the foundation of all wealth. And remember, they've been printing a lot of money. And if commodities and energy are the foundation of all wealth, that means that they're essentially inflation protected. Because if they're going to print more money and they're going to devalue currencies around the world, remember, this isn't just America. This is around the world that they're debasing currencies everywhere. We are in the foundational investments for wealth creation. And you can't get more fundamental than that. Commodities and energy are what backs currencies, as they are future promises of payments in commodities or products. Now, I'm gonna maybe even repeat that one more time, but the basis of all wealth is commodities and energy. And currencies are future repayments. They are debt. Debt is a promise to pay something in the future. And the final payment, there's only a few things in this world that are considered to be final payments. You can't pay someone in dollars because when they get the dollars, that's not a final payment. They're holding it to buy something else in the future. That's what a dollar is a future repayment. So what I'm trying to get at here is wealth is the final payment. That commodity or that natural resource or that service or product. If commodities are basically the structure of all wealth, ultimately dollars are going to have to be converted into commodities or products at some point. It's a future repayment. So when you have inflation, when they're creating more of this debt, we are going to have to produce more commodities or natural resources or energy for final payments of that debt. Hopefully that makes sense there. Currencies must have commodities in order to survive for future growth and repayment for survival of the currency. So it is vital for the currency to survive that the payments be made in something that is a commodity or energy related thing, a natural resource or a product. So I just want to make sure everybody understands that. So another thing, I am positioning the channel and not just the channel, but even myself, I'm positioning for anomalies. wherever you can get an alignment where you get into this win-win scenario where you can position to benefit with anomalies ahead of us, and at the same time you're in the undervalued sectors, you want to take that bet. And what I'm saying is I position for potential currency failure or inflation. I'm positioning for scarcity of materials and other inputs. I'm positioning for market deficits on the supply-demand basis. I'm positioning for unforeseen problems. And this all happens to align with the current commodities bull market and valuations. So whenever you can have this alignment, this is where I like to put the majority of my money, because not only are you in the undervalued sectors, you can position for anomalies as well. Because if the currency fails and you're already in physical precious metals, you win. And when you buy physical precious metals when they're at 100-year lows, something like silver or platinum, that's another alignment that I look for where you can really go big. So I'm looking for all these alignments where I can position and I get free protection as well. I can grow my wealth and get protection at the same time, which is perfect. I love that aspect of it. And I've got some closing statements here. So I go over a lot of companies on the channel through various clips. If you're interested in knowing what companies to ride up, subscribe to the channel and you can see the discussions about companies and the charting I do on a daily basis. I also have some dedicated videos on companies going over their presentations in my playlist of companies. I've got some for new investors who've never invested before. I've got some technical trading videos, which are, I would say, basic, that gets to a little bit more advanced, that will help you technically trade if that's what you're interested in. And I've got some other, I'll call it financial education stuff in those playlists that you can listen to that talks about asymmetric bets, investment strategies, a wide array of investment material. Join the channel, this channel, and this community for the ride higher for this commodities bull market. We can help each other be successful in this commodities bull market. So that's what I have here. If you guys haven't watched a lot of my videos, go back and watch them. They are invaluable. I put a lot of really good, not just content, but a lot of good strategies and education in those clips. And a lot of it, if you were to watch every single one, and I know some people have watched quite a few of them, you're going to learn quite a bit, and you're going to change your investment outlook and paradigm and how you view investments. And right now, I'm a buy and hold guy. I know the value here. Guys, this is such an opportunity, and it's just starting. So I don't want you guys to make the same mistakes I did last bull market. I was trading in and out. 100% gain is nothing. This is a huge opportunity where you can make very large gains, very large, probably things that you can't imagine. And these small little companies, there's not many of them in uranium, in oil and gas. It's going to change your entire outlook on life if you ride some of these up to the extremes that I think they could go. And also keep in mind, we are at the beginning of this bull market. The major moves, the big moves happen at the end of the bull market. That's when they do the blow off tops. We're nowhere near that. So these moves that are happening right now where the 50 days are just crossing the 200 days, that's the beginning of a very long bull market. It could be 5 to 15 years in duration. So now is not the time to be jumping out. Now is not the time to be focusing on the short-term price movements. We want to focus on the 5 to 10 years out. We want to focus on that and the big move, to capture that big move, the life-changing move. You sell for 20% gains or 50% gains, they're probably not going to change your life. You sell 5 or 10 years later, it's going to change your life. Keep cost averaging in, accumulating now, buy and hold. And even if we do have some hiccups between now and say a year out, let's ride in it, ride it down, because we don't know what exactly that's going to look like. I would ride it down a little bit, cost average in, and just ride this thing higher. The structural foundation of this bull market is set. We can see it. The momentum's to the upside. This is the time that I like to buy and just sit tight. Let that momentum, let that current drift us downstream. Let that wind blow us from the back and push us to push our times down and down and down if you're a runner. Let that wind, push us forward. If you guys like this content, thumb up, leave comments below on what you guys think. What's your opinions of this next bull market? What do you think about it? Are you excited? What are you invested in? Leave it in the comments section. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. If you haven't subscribed, I don't know what you're waiting for. Join our community. Let's ride this thing up together. We're going to kill it. Thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.